What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV, and we gotta have a discussion about y'all boy. Y'all favorite guy, Mr. Charleston White, right? I'm here to tell you all right now, Charleston White is nothing more than an attention whore. That's it. He is an attention whore, just out here trying to say the most disrespectful or outlandish things in order to get clicks and views on YouTube, and to keep getting booked for more interviews where he can say more outlandish things in order to generate revenue, right? And as a YouTuber, we all are out here trying to make money in this game. That's all we all are trying to do that. But my problem with Charleston White is he acts like he's the biggest adult in the room and he's the guy with the best advice on how to handle the youth and all this and all of that and how to be the most mature adult in the room. But he does shit like this, right? And I'm going to tell you what he did. The man called King Yella. King Yella is a Chicago rapper and a vlogger. The man had a back and forth with King Yella, and then called King Yella's toddler daughter an ugly little bitch, right? An ugly bitch. That's what the man called a toddler. That's a child he's talking about, right? And then he gets on Say Cheese TV. That's a YouTube platform. Shout out to Say Cheese TV, Sean Cotton. He gets on there and then tries to justify his actions, right? He tries to justify his actions by saying, do Chicago rappers that diss a 15-year-old kid named Tuka go too far? I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he's saying. Do Chicago rappers that diss Tuka, do they go too far? What about them doing that? Why does what I said about the little girl hurt you, but not when the Chicago gang members diss the dead little boy, right? The dead little teenage boy. And Charleston, what the fuck does that got to do with you saying that type of thing about a little infant girl? What does that have to do with you saying that despicable thing about a child, right? See, he's trying to use another wrong to justify his wrong. And we all know two wrongs don't make a right. His grown ass know that, right? But he's trying to manipulate the public and sway them into thinking that what he said was justifiable and what he said was right, and to get people to stand down with him because he knows he got a crew of thousands of minions that cling on to every word that he says and will never look at him as being wrong. So he's trying to spin it in a way to where he could be right. He's the ultimate spin master, right? But that shit don't work on somebody like me who uses common sense, right? Who can gauge when a person is just trying to be disrespectful in order to get views, and then when he's called out about it, he tries to sway the public in whatever direction he wants them to sway, right? Which is absolutely hypocritical. Because again, he is calling a child an ugly bitch, like, and trying to justify it by pointing out the egregious actions of somebody else. Like, bro, what about what you did? What about what you did and what you said? But furthermore, in this instance, the wrong he is trying to use to validate his own ignorance does not work, because King Yella has never dissed Tuka, because that's his homeboy, right? He's talking about a group of young men from a whole other side than what King Yella is, to justify him calling King Yella's daughter an ugly little bitch. What, bro, that don't work. That don't work with your grown ass, man. Clown shit, right? Clown shit. Instead of being accountable and saying, you know what, I was wrong for that. I was wrong in calling that little girl that. I should have never done that. That's foul. Instead of doing that, he's trying to justify that shit. Where's your accountability, brother? He all on YouTube preaching accountability to the youth and the young men all throughout America and all this, and how black Americans got to be accountable for their actions. But what about what the fuck you just said about a little infant baby girl who's done nothing to you, who's had no street dealings whatsoever? Calling her an ugly bitch is cool? See, that's how people get mangled and hurt in the street. You know what I'm saying? He know that. But he's going to keep doing it because it's people that will always be behind him and justify him saying foul shit like that, right? Yeah, you know, it's crazy. Because there are young men in Chicago, Illinois, who disrespect Tuka, which I think is disrespectful, is despicable. It should not be going on. I agree that shouldn't be going on. But yet again, how does that justify you calling a child, another man's little daughter, an ugly bitch? That's foul and despicable. And that man ain't saying nothing about Tuka or nothing like that. That man on a whole different other path right now on YouTube. He ain't talking crazy like that. So how does that justify you calling his daughter an ugly little bitch because y'all had a dispute? Y'all had a quarrel. It doesn't justify it at all. There's no way around that. Again, two wrongs don't make a right, and I shouldn't have to explain that to this grown ass man who's all, if he ain't 50, he got to be late 40s. He know that. He know that, man. And you know what I mean? I don't like individuals like him because he tries to make everything he does sound like he did it for a respectable or logical reason, even though it's ignorant as fuck. It's plain ignorant as fuck. This man works with children. He's a guy who supposedly works with children, and he's disrespecting a child, a toddler who doesn't engage in street antics like I said before. And instead of just apologizing for what he said and admitting that what he did was foul, he chooses to double down on it by comparing his actions to other Chicago gang members' actions, even though he says that Chicago gang members are foul and despicable people. So you're going to stoop to the level of people you think is foul and despicable because you having a disagreement with a man? What the fuck? That don't make no sense. That does not make no sense, man. Chicago gang members dissing Tuka, which I don't approve of. You know, Tuka, an alleged street kid who was killed, and I'll add, it was despicable. That kid getting killed and getting taunted and stuff is wrong. It's horrific for that boy's mother to have to listen to, right? But that does not hold the same weight as Charleston White calling a young baby girl an ugly little bitch. An ugly bitch that has not done nothing to him. Calling a little girl that. Calling a little girl an ugly bitch. What is that? Come on, calling her the B word. I'm going to stop saying it. Calling her the B word, man. For real. It's no justifying that. And even if King Yellow was from the other side, right? Even if he was from the other side and was a guy who was disrespecting a dead young man, the children have nothing to do with what their parents do or have done. The children have nothing to do with that. Children are innocent human beings. And he know that, right? He has no valid reasoning for calling a toddler an ugly B word except for shock value and wanting to be disrespectful. He knows that. Again, he knows he has minions who will align and stand in lockstep and walk in lockstep with him. No matter what he does and says, they will always justify his actions. He's smart enough to know that, so he'll say whatever because he knows that there are people who will think he's right in whatever instance and whatever way he goes. That's just how the YouTube game goes. He knows whatever he says, whether it be disrespectful or despicable, people will stand with him just like they stand with dudes like Hassan Campbell. He know that. And so he gonna keep saying all this crazy stuff because he know it's people that's never gonna hold him accountable for it. So he's saying he ain't gonna be accountable for it. Even though he wants accountability for other young black men across America, he can't be accountable for his own actions and admit when he was wrong, right? Bringing children into internet exchanges is low vibrational behavior. And Charleston White, despite me agreeing with certain points that he makes, and I agree with certain things he says, he is still a low vibrational grown ass man, right? He is a grown man with no accountability for his actions. And I can't respect that. You try to justify every crazy and wrong thing you do. I can't salute that, brother. You can never sit up here and just say, you know what, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. That's not okay, right? He's always on YouTube preaching accountability to the youth and gang members, but can't be accountable for his own actions. Take your own advice, brother. That's something you need to do, right? Don't use deflection tactics to get the heat off of you, admit you were wrong, and foul for what you said. But again, this dude loves to be the bad guy in the interviews and on YouTube, on his YouTube channel for clicks and views. He's a walking, shit-talking contradiction. That's what he is. Because I bet if you called his daughter an ugly B word or his granddaughter an ugly B word, all gloves is off. He talking foul and he gonna say that's heinous, that's disrespectful, that's despicable, that's low vibrational behavior. He would say all the things I'm saying. But because he said it and it came out of his own mouth, he's trying to now justify it. And you got people in the comment section, man, y'all soft, y'all too emotional. Stop looking at words as disrespectful. Brother, with all due respect, shut the fuck up. People, brothers that saying that, shut the fuck. Y'all emotional like women. Because if a dude calls your child an ugly B word, you would take off on him in an instant. Probably slap the shit out of him. Slap the taste out of his mouth. But because your idol, your hero, Charleston White said it, you're flying a cape on your back now to saying it's okay. Come on, man. Nah, just because I agree with certain things a man says does not mean that I agree with everything that he does and let everything that he does fly. Like everything he says is okay because I agree with some points that he made. Come on, man. I agree with some points he made about our community, but Men like him, I can never honor because he can't admit when he's wrong. He doesn't says anything disrespectful. He disrespects anybody and then feel like he can get on here and preach about how people shouldn't be disrespectful. Are you crazy, brother? You can't play that shit on me. Again, we have a man who allegedly works with kids, justifying him calling a little baby girl an ugly B word. And then some people are coming out here accepting that justification. What world are we living in, y'all? What world are we living in, man? He is letting his ignorance and his pride get in the way of admitting he is wrong. And from what I always have heard, pride cometh before the fall. Pride cometh before the fall. Pride comes before that fall, fam. And I ain't wishing it on him, but he might take a fall in the direction he don't want to fall in. Because he keeps stepping his foot in quicksand and he's pulling it out at the last minute. But he really ain't pulling it out in this one because he's just trying to double down on it. And you keep doubling down on stuff, you're going to step into some bullshit. And you're not going to be able to get out of it, brother. You're not going to be able to talk and swindle your way out of it. Then what? You can call the police all you want to if something happens to you. It's some brothers that don't care about you calling the police. Some brothers are willing to go to jail to prove a point. He knows that, right? And some brothers are dying to make an example out of him. You going around saying disrespectful, heinous things about another man's child. There are actions and repercussions for everything we do in this life. And when he does and says those type of things, that smoke will come back to him. I just hope he has a fan to blow that smoke away. Because if you don't, brother, Lord, have mercy. I don't know. But again, he always try to call the police on King Yellow. I'm going to call his parole officer and say he's a gang member making threats to me and all this and all of that. All right, cool. Right? But you can't use that with everybody else. It's some brothers that are willing to go to jail to prove a point. They are willing to hurt and harm you in every way possible just to prove a point, and they will sit in jail. And some of them will rot and be justified and feel justified in their actions the same way you're feeling justified and you calling that little girl an ugly B word. So I hope he knows that, man. You know, and all his little fans, don't keep egging him on, man. I'm telling you, your boy might come face to face with some smoke he don't want, right? Because there's other brothers that are willing to go places that some brothers are not willing to go. And I'm not advocating for it. I'm not bragging on it or nothing like that. But we all know in this world there are some brothers who are willing to go places other brothers aren't to prove their point. Right? So all the disrespectful and all the outlandish shit is always some repercussions from that. So he talk all he want. He better have security with him 24/7 because stuff like this is not okay. It's not acceptable. It's not anything that I salute or anything I respect. And I'm just a man. I'm not a god or nothing like that. And I ain't saying he needs my respect. But honorable men, any honorable man would never look at that as okay. And if you think that's okay, you just really an attention whore too. Or you just a hoe ass dude. That's it. Machiavelli Mills TV. I'm out. Peace.